in regard to the new case would be as charged, no habitual status. I'm trying to understand from the Lenawee County prosecutors what that would impact in regard to the cases pending for Mr. Green-Blaker here in Lenawee County, both up here in circuit court and the case down in district court. I'll just ask for another pretrial in regards to that because I know that we don't have a lot of time this morning. I guess I'd ask if we could also address bond on that on all cases. I'd ask if we could adjourn the violation of probation as well because of that.
All right, Ms. Brenner, anything to add with respect to your case?
Your Honor, I don't have any objection to the adjournment to the pretrial. I would object to a reduction of the bond. Defendant did abscond for quite a lengthy time on probation, and he has the new child support failure to pay. He didn't pay anything while he had absconded from probation. So I would ask that that the bond stay intact and that he remain in custody while this is pending.
Mr. Bayanetto, anything for your case?
Your Honor, I have no objection to an adjournment. As to any bond modification, I would defer to Your Honor's discretion in that matter.
So I will adjourn the matter based on Mr. Murphy's request and lack of any objection. Set for April 19th.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't hear that date.
April 19th at 8:15.
Thank you. My office will prepare the stipulation order for all the files on that.
Thank you. You may sign with my permission.
Thank you.
Ms. Brenner, do you
Sign for
have
me
the
as well,
current
Mr. Murphy?
or do you have the current arrearage for Mr.
Yes, Your Honor. It is $31,166.73 with an ongoing monthly obligation of $615 a month. That he's basically made zero effort at ever paying, Judge.
Because you guys keep me locked up.
Your Honor, if I'll be willing to make arguments for bond once the court's ready for me to.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, I definitely understand Ms. Brenner's position and obviously the situation as it is. I believe Mr. Green-Blaker just expressed because he couldn't really control the issue. Obviously, with him being in custody, he's not able to earn and make any payments. We understand his past history. He was homeless. He had trouble earning income. But obviously, there's zero chance of him earning income if he's in custody. I definitely understand the situation and the concerns both the Lenawee County prosecutors might have and the Attorney General's office might have. But I do believe in speaking with Mr. Green-Blaker, he definitely understands the situation. He can't run from this. He can't flee from this. Quite frankly, this is going to be something he has to address now because it's going to be something he has to deal with for a very long time in his life. And he wants to address it. He wants to make good on his obligations. So I would ask the court to consider that in considering bond. I understand that there's a lot of arrearage here. But again, I don't believe Mr. Green-Blaker can make any payments towards anything or even start to make an income to make payments towards anything if he's incarcerated still. So that's why I was asking the court to consider again, possibly releasing him. Obviously, he would be willing to abide by any conditions moving forward. He understands, again, if he was given that opportunity, if he was given the opportunity to be out, released while pending, while out on bond, that he would have to make good on all the obligations the court imposed on him, including bond conditions and, again, including trying to come up with and start making these child support obligations. I believe Mr. Green-Blaker understands that. If the court was inclined to do any conditions, he would abide by them, GPS tether or daily reporting, weekly reporting. I think obviously those conditions could be imposed in lieu of incarceration. So again, I'd ask the court to consider reducing the bond to possibly a personal recognizance bond if the court be willing to do that. Thank you.
All right, so in the 20 case, Mr. Green-Blaker had pled guilty to felony failure to pay child support. He also in that case failed to report and pled guilty to a probation violation for failing to report. He was gone for a couple of months. He got a second violation of probation for failing to report. The warrant was issued on September 27th and wasn't arrested on that until December 4th of 2022. He has a 31,000 and change arrearage. I don't think under those circumstances that a PR bond is appropriate. Mr. Green Blaker's behavior with respect to what he has pending in front of the court doesn't give me any confidence that he would continue to appear without any kind of a bond. So I'm going to deny that request and leave the bond as it is.
Thank you for taking the time to consider, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you so much.
Mr. Green Blaker, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done in court for today.
Judge, could you tell me what the current bond is?
I'm just listening to what they said the current bond is.
So in file, the 23 file, it is $15,000 cash. In the 22-21192 FH file, it's $5,000 cash for surety. And he has no bond on the bench warrant on the 20 file.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mr. Murphy, Julia Betts was adjourned, so we're all set on that one.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Call for this panel.
Your Honor, I think that's all that I had down in
You
your
have
court.
Lewis.
Oh,
you have
Thurston.
Lewis
It was Thurston, that's right.
According to my docket, I don't know who I need for a prosecutor on that, but
Okay.
the only prosecutor I have is Mr. Bayonetto, and he said it's not his, so.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I'll just mute myself.
Which case was it, Your Honor?
Lewis Thurston.
I was working with Ms.
Mr.
Wagner
Fleming.
down in district court on the case. I think she's the one on those. She was handling it.
I have that as Mr. Fleming's, which he's still in Judge Anzalon's court.
Okay. Right, thank you.
I'm sorry, miss, what's your name?
Sarah Burns.
Sarah, yeah. All right, Ms. Burns, will you come forward to the podium, please? Okay, we are on the record in Chad Holmes versus Sarah Marie Burns. It is file 22-50137-PP. Today's the date set for arraignment on an order to show cause for alleged violation of the personal protection order. Miss, you are Sarah Marie Burns.
Correct.
Ms. Burns, you're before the court today on an order to show cause. That order to show cause alleges that you violated the terms of a personal protection order. on December 26, 2022 by appearing at the workplace or residence of Mr. Holmes. The maximum penalty for a contempt of court is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Do have the right to be represented by an attorney here today and at any other proceedings that we would have on this matter. If you can't afford an attorney, you can tell me that now and I will appoint one for you at public expense. Do you understand that?
Excuse me, I do.
Do you want to be represented by an attorney?
Yes.
You have the ability to pay for your own attorney.
No idea.
All right, so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll enter a not guilty plea on the alleged contempt. And I'll set this matter over to April 19th at 8:15 a.m. So you'll need to be back here on April 19th at 8:15 a.m. or you can attend by Zoom. In the meantime, you need to contact the Lenawee County Public Defender's Office to find out who your attorney is going to be and then get in touch with that person to discuss the matter with them.
Yes, sir.
All right, you are all set then.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I do see Mr. Thurston's file, Mr. Murphy and Ms. Wagner, it looks like worked something out this morning. I see the note in that. If Mr. Murphy wants to go forward with that plea now, we can do that.
Well, I'll have to talk to my client first. I'm not sure if he wants to take
Okay,
any
sure.
offer that's been offered.
Okay, never mind then, Judge. Sorry about that.
Oh, is he here? Can I do a breakout session with him?
I just brought him in, Mr. Thurston. I'm going to need you to unmute your device. I'll send you a request to unmute. Mr. Thurston, if you can hear me, your device is muted. You need to unmute that device. Mr. Thurston's device is still muted. I don't know whether he's there or not at this point.
I'll try to reach him, Your Honor. over the
Okay,
phone.
here I
Okay.
am.
Oh,
Here I
hang
am.
on. Here we are. All right, Mr. Thurston, I'm going to place you in a breakout session with Mr. Murphy so that you can speak to him privately.
Okay.
All right, the gentleman that's here in the courtroom, what's your name?
Hi, Jose Espinoza here.
Okay,
Here to witness Nancy's.
Oh,
hearing.
all right, you're just here to observe. Okay. Do we have it coming to us at the jail?
Yes. That's a good call.
All right, I have a device that's logged in under the name Robert Vogt. Your device is muted. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your device.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, good morning, sir. Can you tell me what case you're here for?
For the Melissa Roberts versus Charles Robertson.
Okay, so that is scheduled for 10:30. Are you a witness for that case?
I am.
Okay, so that's scheduled for 10:30. I'm just going to place you back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Or if you prefer to log out and log back in at 10:30, you can do that if you want.
Nope, I'll wait. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Glazier, we have Mr. Hall here. Do you need a breakout session with him?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we are on the record in the people of the state of Michigan versus Hezekiah William Hall, file number 22-21141-FH. File 22-21070-FH. I guess just those two. All right, so we are here today for pretrial conferences in these files, proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record.
Alex Baynetto for the people.
John Glazier on behalf of Mr. Hall.
All right, and Mr. Glazier, where do we stand with Mr. Hall's cases today?
Your Honor, he has a new file coming up that will be set for arraignment on March 15th. Isaac and I have been working on a plea. He's got like 7 different files, 3 up in your court and 4 down in district court. We're trying to resolve them all. And hopefully we could do that on the 15th when the new file gets up there.
All right, so yeah, I will just adjourn this then to March 15th at 8:15 a.m. To go along with the other cases that will be set for arraignment on that date.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazier, would you prepare those stipend orders?
Yeah, I can do that, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Mr. Hall, then you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. All right.
Mason.
Hello, could we have Mason Lindeman for the judge, please? Thank you. Bye.
All right, Mr. Dagger Margosian, they should be bringing us Mason Lindeman right now. We're going to need a breakout session with him.
Yes, briefly, Judge.
I will, actually, let me just set that up now so that when he gets here, you'll be able to talk to him. Okay, Mr. Murphy, I apologize for that. I didn't realize that you would get sent back to your breakout session.
That's fine, Your Honor. Just give me another opportunity to make sure Mr. Thurston didn't have any other questions.
Okay, so we've got everybody back now. We are on the record in the people of state of Michigan versus Lewis Edward Thurston, file number 22-21160-FH. We are here today for a pretrial conference, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Baynetto.
Alex Baynetto for the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing on behalf of Lewis Thurston.
All right, Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with Mr. Thurston's case this morning?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution has offered for Mr. Thurston to plead to as charged to a felony operating while intoxicated. The question mark here is that the prosecution was willing to stipulate or to do a killabrew to no further jail if Mr. Thurston was engaged in treatment. What I was asking for would be an adjournment to see if Mr. Thurston can even engage in, if he can find some treatment that would match what the prosecution was talking about here. If you can get that, even get that started, because he has limited limitations on his transportation and funding, things like that. But if we could adjourn for one more pretrial, see if we can engage in some sort of treatment. If you can make that happen, we could talk with the prosecution, see if that's what they're talking about. And if not, obviously at the next pretrial date, we'll see where we're at. But I was asking if we could adjourn just for that reason, again, to see if he can find and engage in the treatment the prosecution was requesting.
All right, Mr. Bayanetto, any objections to an adjournment?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will set this then for April 19th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I was going to ask if we could briefly address bond in this matter in regards to Mr. Thurston's scram unit.
All right, go ahead.
I have spoken with Ms. Wagner about this situation. I apologize, Mr. Bayanetto, to ambush you about this. But in regards to Mr. Thurston, he is on a scram unit. He has expressed concern for the past few weeks or more about his ability to continue paying for the cost of that scram unit. And discussing the matter with Ms. Wagner, there is a kind of predicament that we're in because Mr. Thurston has limited transportation. He's not able to really make twice daily PBTs. He can't afford to go places, and he can't make it to Lenawee County or to the sheriff's office to make it. So he was placed on a home unit, and then there was an issue with the home unit. He got himself onto the scram unit. What we're asking for now will be if the court be willing to allow him to go back onto the home unit. I think that will save him some money. He said not a lot, but some. We understand that he can't be taken off completely of the testing and bond conditions, but again, I'll ask the court to consider allowing him to go back to the home unit. Because again, he's trying to figure out a way to keep making the payments and not violate his bond conditions.
What was the issue with the home unit that caused the scram unit to be placed?
When Mr. Thurston first got the original home unit, there was the first or second time he went to blow, there was an issue with it registering. It registered him providing a sample once, and then there was an issue that came up. It couldn't provide any confirmation samples or anything to that effect. He turned the unit in. There was an issue with that. They said that there was some, I guess there were some issues with it being able to actually read or something. And then he got a scram unit, not wanting to worry about any issues with another home unit moving forward. Obviously, there's that big issue there. If he has the same issue with this new unit that he did with the previous one, there could be, we understand that obviously that could reflect as though he's drinking or there's some bond violations. But obviously the big issue here is Mr. Thurston being able to afford the scram unit moving forward. So that's why we're asking for that. But that was the issue. There was a charge for a bond violation stemming from that was resolved on in district court and dismissed. But that was what had happened and why he got himself onto the scram unit. And there has been no bond violations or allegations of bond violations since that. And that was back, I think in, when was that, Mr. Thurston?
I think it was November, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was 2 days after I got put on the home unit.
Okay, Mr. Bayanetto, anything you want to say with respect to that request?
Your Honor, as long as the defendant's testing any modification to the bond, I would leave in Your Honor's discretion.
Okay, so I will modify Mr. Thurston's bond at this time to allow him to test with a home unit rather than the scram unit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Murphy, were there previous, how was he testing previously? Was it randomly, or did he have a specific number of times a day he needed to test?
It was twice daily. I don't know the times when he was testing, but it was twice daily.
It was 9 in the morning and 9 at night.
Okay, so we'll return to that schedule of twice daily, 9 in the morning and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thurston. You can go ahead and log out. Mr. Murphy, would you prepare the stipend order for the adjournment?
Yes, I will, Your Honor.
Excuse me, is now on April 19th, is that another Zoom or do I have to come into court?
It'll be over Zoom,
That
Mr. Thurston, if you want to.
Okay.
And I'll contact you, obviously, in the next couple of days when I get, so we can talk about what we need to do, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
so when do I come in to get this unit changed? Do I come in today or?
My suggestion would be to come in today, go in and get it changed, because as soon as the order is put in, it's allowed to be changed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And I think that was all that I had. I'm going to go ahead and log into Judge Anslone's court. Obviously, if I'm wrong, please give me a call and I'll come back in.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Glazier, you have a Joseph Taylor this morning?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
He is not logged into.
He's
the Zoom
he's out in
session.
he's out in my waiting room, Your Honor.
Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, if you want to go get him, we can do his case.
Sure.
How do I get out of?
Pull this chair over here so the judge can see it.
All right, we are on the record in the People of the State of Michigan versus Joseph Robert Taylor, file 23-21237-FH. Today's the date set for a pretrial hearing in this matter. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayonetto.
Alex Bayonetto for the people.
John Glazier on behalf of Mr. Taylor, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazier, where do we stand with Mr. Taylor's case today?
I spoke with Isaac yesterday, Your Honor, and we may have this resolved, but I need to speak with you off the record at some point. Do you want to do that on a different day or do you want to do it today?
Okay, I think we could probably make time for that right now. So, Mr. Espinoza, I'm gonna have to ask you to step to the hallway for just a moment. For those that are here by Zoom, I'm gonna place everyone in the waiting room for a moment, and we will be right back after we have a conversation with Mr. Glazier. I presume you mean off the record, Mr. Glazier?
You're off the record now?
Not quite yet.